Tonight at 7 p.m. and at 9:30 p.m. at the Fort Garry Hotel Club Room, the TD Winnipeg International Jazz Festival, in collaboration with the Asper Foundation, will be presenting the fabulous Winnipeg vocalist Nadia Douglas. Called Tony Bennett, The Voice, this show, as the title suggests, puts the music of Tony Bennett front and center. This is part of a series of shows that Jazz Winnipeg has been holding during the festival that pay tribute to 4 legendary icons that have recently passed away, the others being Jeff Beck, Astrud Gilberto, and Burt Bacharach. Known for her smooth, captivating, gorgeous alto voice, Nadia Douglas has become a mainstay on the Winnipeg jazz scene, performing at all the major jazz venues around the city and with the likes of the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, Ron Paley, and Jeff Preslaff, just to name a few. The show tonight, featuring the music of Tony Bennett, is sure to be just terrific. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about tonight's show, I am joined by the one and only Nadia Douglas. Hey, Nadia, nice to meet you.
Well, it's lovely to meet you as well, Chris. And I'm not sure about the one and only, but I'm here all the same.
So, as I said in the intro, the show for tonight is part of a series of shows that Jazz Winnipeg is presenting. They're paying tribute to icons
that have passed,
that
exactly.
have passed away.
Yeah.
Tony Bennett died last year. Who approached you about the idea of doing a Tony Bennett tribute show? Did you approach Jazz Winnipeg, or was it the other way around?
No, it was the other way around, actually. Zachary Rushing had contacted me, and he had mentioned that they were going to do these 4 wonderful artists and showcase them because they'd passed in the last year. And when we chatted on the phone, he said, we decided also on Tony Bennett, and the first thought that came to my mind was Nadia Douglas has got to sing this stuff. Probably because he knows I was born in the wrong era. I really, really was. I love all that old jazz. I love the old movies, the costumes, the glitz, the glamour. And so I think because he's seen me, all dolled up, if you will. He probably thought, it might be a good fit. And of course, what an honor to actually be able to perform all of Tony Bennett. Well, not all of Tony Bennett's songs. Certainly, we're just scratching the surface. But how lucky am I that I have the opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. So, sort of leads to the next question. How long have you been a fan of Tony Bennett? How long have you been listening to his music?
How long have I been alive? Goodness sakes. Who isn't a fan of Tony Bennett? My goodness. I mean, obviously he's a brilliant, brilliant vocalist, and as you know, and I'm sure the audience knows, Frank Sinatra said he's the best singer he's ever heard, which most everybody will agree. It's not just the voice, it's his style, it's his flavor. And the gentleman has the it factor oozing out of every pore.
Yeah.
And so when he sings, it just is this connection with the audience. And it's something to watch. And for him to reinvent himself, albeit with the help of his son, to reinvent himself and to go on Much Music there. And that was fabulous. And he grabbed this whole new generation of audience and then reinvented himself again by doing all the duet albums, you know. And in fact, the duet he did with Amy Winehouse, that was her last recording before she passed away. So I could speak about his wonders. You don't even have enough time, Chris. I mean, so why wouldn't everybody want to hear his incredible voice? He's also a brilliant painter, and he signs his work by his actual name, right?
Benedetto.
There you
something?
go, Benedetto.
Yeah.
So I mean, my goodness, the man lived his life to the fullest. And so, he's so inspiring.
Yeah, and there's so many chapters to his life, There's the sort of rebooting of his career that took place in like 89,
That's
90.
right.
And as you talked about, where he went on sort of Letterman and sort of, more places that would attract younger audiences.
That's right.
His music is timeless. Why do you think it's going to continue to be timeless?
Because good music always is. Good music, it doesn't matter what era, what genre, Good music is good music. And the music that Tony Bennett does, I mean, goodness sakes, he smiled through every song. And again, with that it factor, you can't help but smile when you watch the man. And it's such a gift. He doesn't even, you don't even feel like he's singing. You just feel like he's kind of sharing some stuff with you. So why do I want to sing him? Holy doodle.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Aside from that incredible bel canto voice that he had, Bennett always had terrific pianists with him, whether it was his longtime partner, Ralph Sharon, Bill Evans, etc. Who's going to be the pianist for your show tonight? And can you talk about who else is going to be joining you on stage?
Absolutely. So we'll start with the pianist. His name is Richard Boughton. He's one of the best in Winnipeg, and I'm a lucky, lucky girl to have him, and I work together as often as we do. Rick and I have been together doing shows for quite some time now, and he's also my musical director for when we do the Karen Carpenter show and whatnot. And he actually did all the arrangements for the music for all of the musicians that will be playing. I know I'm taking a moment on Richard Boughton, but he's earned it. He deserves it, and he's absolutely brilliant. So, him and I, when we chatted about the tunes that we should do, that's how it always works, right? If a big project comes up, Rick and I chat about how, what, where, when, what are we going to do? And so we decide which tunes are the best, and then usually we have to pick a key because everything I sing in the basement. But with Tony Bennett songs, I'm going to sing it mostly in his key, which is great. So we start with that, and then he gets busy arranging once we've decided on, which extra musicians we're going to have. And we're very fortunate to have, the whole band is seven pieces. Mm-hmm. So myself, vocals, Richard Boughton is obviously on keys. We have Ken Gold on saxophone. Mm-hmm. We have Paul Bulcane on saxophone. Mm-hmm. We have Bob Vandenbroek on trumpet. Mm-hmm. We've got Devin Gillingham on acoustic bass, stand-up bass, and we've got Rob Swick on drums.
So it's a killer band.
It is, and I adore these boys. I've worked with them for a very long time, and we did a rehearsal yesterday, and it was just far too much fun. We only do one rehearsal for this whole show, so that's it. That's all. So hopefully it'll come off great. But but these boys are so gifted. They're so talented. They see all those little black dots on the paper that Rick has written, and it's they have a couple of questions, but fundamentally they just play. So.
What can audiences expect to hear tomorrow night? Is it going to be straight up hits like I Left My Heart in San Francisco or I Want to Be Around, or is it going to be sort of more deeper cuts as well?
Honestly, my thoughts were I'm going to pick the songs that I absolutely love. There is far too many songs to, which is his best and which is this and which is that best for that era and this and that and the other. And everybody has their favorites, right? Mm-hmm. And you certainly can't do a show without doing, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. And also, in my humble opinion, a song that I'm absolutely in love with is called Because of You, and that was his actual first hit. And it's just beautiful. So I'm going to do that and a whole bunch of others in between. Again, it's because these particular songs that we'll be doing tomorrow, they certainly resonate with myself. And Rick also, he said, what about this one? What about that one? Yes, for sure. So between Rick and I, we picked our favorites, and it took quite some time to navigate through the list and come up with a certain set list, if you will.
Sure to entertain. Are you going to be doing your own take on the songs, or are you going to try to sort of replicate what Tony Bennett did as far as delivery goes?
Well, I'm not a boy, so I have to sing it in a girl's way. And fundamentally, it still has the flavor. And certainly the arrangements are written almost exactly like it was done. It might be a little, some tunes maybe just a smidge faster, and it will be my interpretation, because I can't, I'm not him.
Yeah.
So I have to just pull as much flavor of Mr. Bennett as I can, and hopefully do the songs justice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your voice interpreting the music of Tony Bennett, what could be better? It's going to be really an excellent show. What are you looking forward to most about performing?
What am I looking forward to most about performing?
Yeah.
All of it. every little bit. And what happens sometimes, because again, I can't stop talking about these musicians who are so brilliant. Sometimes I am listening to them so intently play and do their thing and take their solos and whatever, I forget, and I have to jump back into the tune because they're just very, very good. So I think it's going to be a fabulously fun show. I think I'm hoping that everybody's going to get their little fingers snapping and their toes tapping, and if they want to sing along, by all means, people know a bunch of these tunes. I don't want to tell oodles of stories. I'm happy to, but I think, there's so many tunes that the more tunes we could do rather than the stories. I might say a couple of little things about a couple of songs, but fundamentally, my job is to put out as many songs as possible in the timeline that we're afforded. So, yeah.
Nadia, the show's tonight, Tony Bennett, The Voice, that takes place at 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. at the Fort Garry Hotel Club Room. Sound like they're going to be just great. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and talk to me today. This has been fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Chris. It's been my honor. Thank you.